Donald J. Trump posted this one. Over 7 million views already, 200,000 likes, almost 50,000 retweets. Check it out, man. Oh.
I will work to pass the first ever federal ban on price gauging on food.
We've seen this kind of thing tried in lots of other countries before: Venezuela, Argentina, the Soviet Union, etc. It leads to shortages. It leads to black markets.
Essentially, what we're talking about, though, is gargantuan big government that controls everything. What we're talking about is a war on capitalism.
It's not going to be markets. It's not going to be supply and demand that's determining how much your grocery store charges you for milk or for eggs. It's going to be some bureaucrat in D.C., which seems like totally unworkable.
It's always about control. They want to control. They want to be able to pick winners and losers and also be able to punish those losers.
Whoa, boy. And that was posted a couple hours ago.
I will snatch their patent so that we will take over. And yes, we can do that. Yes, we can do that. Yes.
Comrade Kamala. Oh boy.
We can do that. It's the question is, do you have the will to do it? I have the will to do it. I will snatch their patent so that we will take over. And yes, we can do that.
Kamala went full communist. You heard that? She went full communist. She wants to destroy our country. After causing catastrophic inflation, Comrade Kamala announced that she wants to institute socialist price controls. You saw that. Never worked before. Never, ever worked. This is the Maduro plan, Venezuela. Maduro plan of like the old Soviet Union. They tried it. How did the Soviet Union work out? It became Russia, a smaller version. It was a smaller version. It will cause rationing, hunger, and skyrocketing prices, just like their Inflation Reduction Act caused, one of the great scams of all time. They got it approved with a beautiful name, Inflation Reduction, because inflation under their system has been so bad. It's gone up much more than 50%. You know, they say 30, 40, 50, much more. People are being devastated. They're being devastated. Okay. She called it wrong. She's called it wrong now for about 8 years. But she said one thing that got me. She said Kamala has one big advantage. She's a very beautiful woman. She's a beautiful woman. So I decided to go back and reread the clause. I'm not saying he's not, but I say that I am much better looking than her. I think I'm much better. Much better. I'm a better looking person than Kamala. No, I couldn't believe it. She said, you know, I had never heard that one. They said, no, her biggest advantage is that she's a beautiful woman. I'm going, huh. I never thought of that. I'm better looking than she is. And
Oh boy, you just can't make this up, man. I hope everybody is blessed, well, healthy, and that nothing but the best is going on in all you beautiful people's life, man. We rocking and rolling today, y'all. Cheers. Don't let them forget. You better not let them forget. They want to bury that. Don't let them bury it now. What has it been? Almost, 36 days? And they trying to wipe it under the rug. Sweep it under the rug. No. It's too big to rig this year, baby. It is too big to rig this year, man. Y'all have wiped Donald through the mud. You have wiped this Trump and Vance ticket through the mud, man. And they're going to continue to be rude, disrespectful, complete nasty with these fellas. You know, lies after lies, bias reporting, fake news, crap. And people are sick of it, man. The left, Democrats, failures, liars. And we're not going for it anymore, man. And as you can see, the true colors are showing. The honeymoon stage has come to an end. The momentum, whoosh. And you see a lot of people are walking away now. They're either not voting or they're on the Trump train. A lot of people are waking up, man. And I told y'all it's going to be facts over emotions. Tons of people are still emotions over facts. Trump might have hurt their little feelings, you know, because we live in a very sensitive time. But the tide is turning, man. The tide is turning. And a lot of people are waking up, man. But make sure y'all hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new here. We got an amazing video. This was a second video that's put together by my brother Greg, man. I want to get his take on it. But even CNN is turning against Comrade Kamala. I love when Trump said that. Comrade Kamala. Even CNN is turning against. Boy, you just can't make this stuff up, man. You just can't make this stuff up. And last time CNN turned on a Democrat, that fella dropped out, didn't he? Yeah, after that debate, that fella dropped smooth out. The machine completely shut down. We are not against a candidate. We are against a machine. A sweet machine. And they rigged the machine up. They got the machine back working. Got some new parts in there. So it got to be too big to rig this year, y'all. Too big to rig, baby. Well, let's go and check it out, man. Oh, boy.
I'm living paycheck to paycheck. I'm stealing from Peer to PayPal. And I know it's cyclical. I know, you can't blame the sitting president for everything that's wrong. You can't blame past presidents for everything that's wrong. But come on, guys, we got to do something.
Again, that was earlier this summer. I checked in with Michelle again after President Biden dropped out of the race.
We got to get common sense back, man. We got to get common sense back. Millions of people are struggling and dying right now. Struggling. America isn't America anymore. A complete laughingstock. A failing nation. Then they talking about the inflation rate and all these reports coming back. You're not fooling anybody. Everybody sees what's going on. Everybody feels what's going on. They're mad. They're upset. They're sick and tired of being sick and tired. They're in pain.
How do you feel about the race now?
This is going to sound crazy, but I feel better because I don't know. I said on my last interview, like, don't really hear from Kamala, but I think I'm with Kamala. I've watched her. I think she has to get her feet wet. She was only the vice president, but I think a woman running this country, oh God, I hope.
Meanwhile,
well, the first thing he needs to do, which he's already doing and will continue to do, and will ring true to voters, is continue to point out that all the conditions in the country that Kamala Harris is complaining about, with inflation, high rents, cost of living, that's all a direct result of the policies that she and Joe Biden implemented. So that's number one. You have to lay the blame where the blame goes, and it's right at her feet. You cannot allow her to pretend as though she is disconnected. Number two, he needs a clear message on her plan. I mean, this is if you want product shortages, if you want black markets, if you love bread lines, if you love hoarding, and if you like, communist style anarchy on the streets of America, this is the plan for you. This is not a serious plan. This is a set of pandering from someone who has no idea what they're doing and doesn't want to take responsibility of the problems they've caused. She wasn't merely a bystander. She cast votes that caused the inflation. You can't trust her to fix the inflation. That'll be the message that Donald Trump runs on, and I think the American people already believe that, so it ought to be pretty easy to sell.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. We got to talk about Kamala Harris, who is getting absolutely destroyed across the legacy media for going full-blown Soviet, okay? That is what Kamala Harris is doing.
Shout out to my brother Greg, man. Link will be in the description box down below. But a lot of people that are subscribed to Greg, amazing channel, man. His view are also over here as well. So But if you're not, make sure you go down below and check my brother out, man. He does an amazing job.
In her economic proposal to fight inflation, she wants to implement price controls. Now, we're going to talk a little bit more about these price controls because historically speaking, economically, right, if you've ever taken basically any economic class, you know that price controls do not work. Okay, they did not work for the Soviet Union. They did not work for Venezuela because the problem with inflation is that we have a supply problem, okay? And when you have a supply problem, a supply shortage, you really should be doing supply side economics, right? That's what you really should be doing. But again, there's this stigma against supply side economics, and I don't understand why, because right now I would say that the best thing to do for the economy is quite literally to cut taxes and to cut spending, right? That's the problem, okay? We are spending too much money, and we probably should cut taxes to allow the private sector to do what it does best, okay? But this is not what the left believes in, okay? They believe that the government is God, okay? And the government is supposed to control everything, including prices. Now, there is no evidence whatsoever that there is any type of price gouging. What they're essentially trying to do is that they're trying to shift the blame away from the Kamala Biden administration in their terrible economic policies, mainly overspending, which is contributing to the inflation. They're trying to shift the blame from them and to blame those greedy corporations, right? Those greedy grocery stores that only have a 1% profit margin. Now, I've talked about this quite a bit. Grocery stores, their profit margins are extremely slim, okay? They survive based off volume. So this idea that a grocery store that is making 1 to 2% in margin somehow is price gouging is just a ridiculous idea, okay? And if you implement price controls, most likely that is just going to result in more supply shortages, okay? It's just going to make the problem even worse, okay? Because producers are not going to want to produce a product at a set price if they cannot make a certain margin on the product, okay? So
and y'all see now, a lot of CEOs, a lot of people, business owners, a lot of grocery store owners, a lot of people, big time people are calling this exact same stuff out. And they are pissed. Yeah. She's woken up a lot of people. Yeah. But hey, this is what we expected, man. This is what we expected. A lot of us are not even surprised. And as you can see now, the momentum, the honeymoon, over. Woof. Time to get common sense back, man. We need common sense back.
So if Kamala Harris says, hey, you can't sell this item for more than $5, although it costs you more than $5 to make, then you're not going to produce any. Again, this is very simple stuff, okay? But apparently you have simpletons running the Kamala Harris campaign, and you have to be really stupid to put out a proposal like this because it is so dumb that even CNN is roasting Kamala Harris for this proposal. When I first saw this video, I was like, I couldn't believe it because I gave their economic journalists, their financial journalists, a hard time for being a partisan hack. But I have to give her credit here. She's actually telling the truth about Kamala Harris's proposal and how it definitely will probably be a disaster if they actually try to implement it. Take a look.
Catherine, I read your piece and I heard you just mention it. The federal ban on price gouging for groceries. You are skeptical of this. Why?
Well, first of all, nobody can explain what price gouging means. It's like that old line about pornography. I know it when I see it, in the sense that what does it mean to have an excessive price or an excessive profit margin? That seems to be shorthand for a price or a profit margin that bugs me. That seems too high. So, it's very hard to pin down what this would actually mean. If you look at the legislation that, as I mentioned, is already in the Senate, led by Senator Warren and Senator Bob Casey and a slew of others, the particular way that this is written, which is likely to be the template for any proposal that Harris would eventually embrace, is especially bad in that it just bans excessive prices, grossly excessive prices, grossly excessive profit margins, and says that the Federal Trade Commission can use any metric it deems appropriate to decide what that would mean. Which basically says, like, it's not going to be markets, it's not going to be supply and demand that's determining how much your grocery store charges you for milk or for eggs. It's going to be some bureaucrat in DC, which seems like totally unworkable, first of all, for the FTC to be deciding like how much Kroger charges for eggs in Michigan. But it also would be very bad for markets. We've seen this kind of thing tried in lots of other countries before: Venezuela, Argentina, the Soviet Union, etc. It leads to shortages. It leads to black markets, plenty of uncertainty. And beyond that, the specific way this bill is written might actually increase prices because of some of the other language in it. Things like requiring public companies to disclose in their quarterly reports, their quarterly earnings reports, how they're setting prices, which is a great way to help them collude, which normally we don't want them to do. So anyway, the devil's in the details, I guess, for that bill, but it's really hard for me to imagine any form of legislation that preserves the spirit of what she's proposing that would not be, at best do nothing, at worst cause a lot of.
Wow. You don't say, right? You don't say. An economic policy from the Democrats is a disaster. From the people who do not understand economics, okay? These are the people, guys, who struggle to explain very basic things when it comes to the economy. You guys remember this guy, Jared Bernstein? This guy is one of Biden's top economic advisors.
The U.S. government can't go bankrupt because we can print our own money.
It obviously begs the question, why exactly are we borrowing in a currency that we print ourselves? I'm waiting for someone to stand up and say, why do we borrow our own currency in the first place?
Like you said, they print the dollar. So why does the government even borrow?
Well, again, some of this stuff gets. Some of the language that some of the language and concepts are just confusing. I mean, the government definitely prints money, and it definitely lends that money, which is why the government definitely prints money, and then it lends that money by selling bonds. Is that what they do? They sell bonds. Yeah, they sell bonds, right? Since they sell bonds, and people buy the bonds and lend them the money. Yeah, so. A lot of times, at least to my ear with MMT, the language and the concepts can be kind of unnecessarily confusing, but there is no question that the government prints money and then it uses that money to, I guess I can't really talk, I don't get it. I don't know what they're talking about, cause it's like, the government clearly prints money, it does it all the time, and it clearly borrows. Otherwise, we wouldn't be having this debt and deficit conversation. So I don't think there's anything confusing there.
Yeah, so is there any surprise that when you have people like this running the Biden administration, the government, advising Kamala Harris on economic policy, that you get really stupid proposals like the one that Kamala Harris put out that, again, was so stupid?
They're all drinking. Breathe in this walkie-talkie, everybody. Hands behind all your backs. Everybody turn around. You're coming with us. Yeah. Yeah, you're all above the limit. Yeah. Yeah. All of you. Every last one. Yeah. Yeah. 10-4. We need backup. Yeah, we need extra cars. We're gonna get everybody in the back of a squad car today. Failures.
So dumb, okay, so ridiculous that even CNN was admitting that, yeah, this is bad, okay, this is real bad, okay. At best, this will do nothing positive, okay, and at worst, it can be bad, right? It can actually have the reverse effect, okay, who knows, okay. This is what Kamala Harris has proposed, okay, and I want to actually play another reaction to it. Our boy Charles Payne on Fox News. I want to play a clip of him reacting to this because I think he has a great take on this and how Democrats are trying to change something that has worked for this country for the longest time. Okay, we are a capitalistic country, and we should stay that way.
Your take on what you just heard, Charles. Welcome.
It's a lot, right? I mean, it's essentially what we're talking about, those gargantuan big government that controls everything. What we're talking about is a war on capitalism. They really do not believe in capitalism. And to be quite honest, Dave, when I sat down, I heard you talking about how this has surprised some people. I think I never bought in that she was shifting her spots, you know. But then the selection of the governor from Minnesota solidified this. Yeah. They are infatuated with some sort of big government, knows all, does all, can provide all. And they are not fans of the for-profit motivation or capitalism, because it's not even about economics about them. They've got to wrap it in a veneer of economics. It's always about control. They want to control. They want to be able to pick winners and losers, and also be able to punish those losers. When they talk so vitriolically about companies, to David's point, last time Kroger reported their earnings, their profit margins went down from 3.5% to 2.9%. Now, I don't care what definition of gouging you may have. That's not it. I don't care what anyone says. 2.9% ain't gouging. By the way, they have tens and tens and tens and tens of thousands of employees. And America's got to decide. You know, I know this is sexy. It might be sexy. Sounds fair to younger people. But you have to really understand. The one thing that people need to look at is when President Biden and Vice President Harris talk, one thing they keep talking about is how quickly America rebounded, how it's doing much better than its rivals. Now, they want to take credit for it, but we have been the best economy in the world since the late 1800s. We ushered in American-style capitalism. So they didn't do anything special, but the question is, if we are so great, why do you want to change us? Why do you want to change all of the things that made us the greatest country in the world? Why? Think about that. Think about all the amazing things out there right now that are changing society, that are changing humanity. You know, you look at the stock market. We're 60% of the world's stock market. Number 2, China at about 5%. These European countries, you can't even find them on there. Do we really want to be that? Do we want to be a country that doesn't innovate? A country that just saddled with debt? I mean, it's just...
Yeah, so I think that this is a mask-off moment, guys, okay? And why do I say that? Well, the reason why I say that is because there's a reason why Kamala Harris has been avoiding interviews, avoiding talking about her policies, her proposals, and she's kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place because she wants to distance herself from Joe Biden, okay? But at the same time, she has a far-left progressive wing of the party to pander to, right? And that is where this is coming from, right? This is what the far leftists believe in. Now, all of the educated people, the people who actually know about history, okay, economic history, to understand the devastation that happens when you have these types of government price controls that the Kamala Harris administration wants to implement, we know that, okay, this is a terrible idea, right? And again, it explains everything. It explains why she doesn't want to talk. And now that she's put this out here, this is something that is going to be attached to her at the hip, okay? Republicans finally got some red meat, right, to attack Kamala Harris on, okay? And hey, this is what she said. It's not, oh, well, she said this 4 years ago type of stuff. No. This is what she has proposed. This is her policy, okay? Republicans have a whole lot to work with when it comes to some of the initial policies that Kamala Harris is rolling out, because she's either just straight up copying Trump, right, or just going full-blown communist, right, which is what's happening here. Now, here's the problem, though. One problem is that we still have a country in which a significant portion of people are complete and total idiots when it comes to this type of stuff, right? Because,
and that's what y'all know, I've said that these last 10 videos. We still have that clueless. Do you know some people said when they heard $25,000 for them to buy for them to be a first time home buyer, they all got excited and started. What? $25,000? Y'all laughing. I'm serious. People that don't know what's going on, even people that are struggling, don't know what's going on. Clueless. And this is why I tell people, make sure you do your research. that you've done your research and that you can think for yourself. I know some of y'all are brainwashed. The media has gotten to you, the mainstream media. You went with the first thing you seen or the first thing that you heard from somebody that you love, a loved one, and that most of the time they don't know what's going on either. Yeah. But we got to make common sense great again. I'm just saying. And you see now a lot of people that was clueless, they're waking up. Yeah. Especially the ones that took basic economics.
As to the left, the proposals that Kamala Harris is putting out there, it sounds like a dream, right? Oh man, Kamala Harris is going to give you $25,000 to purchase a home, right? Now, again, what will happen when the government starts just handing out money to everybody that wants to buy a home? What will happen? Well, what will happen is that you're going to drive up the price of housing, especially if you don't address the core problem, which is that we have a housing inventory crisis, okay? Housing inventory is down in the United States from when it was under the Trump administration. And part of the reason why is because interest rates are elevated to the point where you have people locked into these lower interest rates that existed, again, under the Trump administration, and they don't want to sell their homes just to go and buy another home and be locked into a higher interest rate, right? So that is why a lot of people just not trying to really sell their houses right now, is because if they have to go buy another house, then you're going to have to pay a higher interest rate on what is already a pretty steep price to pay for a home in 2024. So again, Kamala and her solutions probably will make the problem worse, but the idiots on the left, especially the far left, they don't know this, right? They don't understand this, okay? Because this is not something that they were taught in school. They weren't interested in this stuff, right? What they were taught is that, well, the government can solve every problem, okay? And that the government is God, and you just need to give away free stuff, right? Just give away free stuff, control prices, the government controls the market, and that's just not how it works. It does not work. It never works. There's a reason why China tried to be communist, right? They tried it, okay? But they realized that, hey, capitalism works better. So they now have kind of a mixed economy in which they let the free market do its thing to a certain extent, right? They're still heavily regulated by the CCP, but even they realize that, hey, this whole control economy thing where the government is trying to control everything, they're trying to allocate resources for everything, that doesn't work because the government is inefficient at the allocation of resources, right? Very inefficient, okay? This is why I like to have businessmen in office. Why do I like to have businessmen in office? Well, the reason why is because businessmen are some of the best people in the world at allocating resources. The government is terrible at allocating resources. And as you can see here, Kamala is showing that, yeah, she is absolutely terrible when it comes to this issue of the economy. But like I said, there are a lot of stupid people in this country that will read these proposals, that will hear these proposals and say, oh, that's great. The government is saying that bread can be no more than $1, right? Until producers stop producing bread because they can't make a profit, right? So now all of a sudden you have no bread, okay? That's kind of how that works. But again, they don't understand this. They don't really get it. They believe that, again, the government can just cure every problem and that all this sounds amazing, is great, and they'll go out and they'll vote for it. They really will. So again, we have to depend on smart people, educated people, not indoctrinated, but actually really educated and intelligent people like most of you guys, okay, that watch this channel. It's up to us, right? It is up to us to educate the public and say, listen, this is not a good idea, right? It's so bad that even CNN said that, yeah, this is a bad idea, right? Kamala Harris probably should drop this. But hey, the cat is out of the bag. Kamala has gone full-blown Soviet, okay? Full-blown communist. And yeah, this is great. This is awesome. I can't wait for the debates, man. I can't wait for the debates. I can't wait to hear more of Kamala Harris's crazy ideas, because now she's finally opening herself up to where Republicans can actually really attack her on something, because she's actually talking about some of her policies, which again are absolutely insane. Let me know what you guys think.
Facts, man. And like I told y'all, now it's more of a chance for him to just they just go in there and just clean house. A easy knockout punch. Easy. So I'm gonna come down to common sense, man. And I say after everything we've seen so far, just to be honest with you guys, man, it's gonna be too big to rig. Too big to rig, you know. And I know it done got real when tons of my Democrat family members, and they watch the channel too. They text me and call me and say, Rick, I'm voting for the white man. I'm voting for that felon. Yeah. You know, hard Democrats, and you know, they're big on race and stuff like that, man, you know. They love to pull the race card, the race hustling. So when I hear them say the white man, you know, but I try not to get into, you know, fights or battles or full blown debates with my family or friends or, you know, people that I'm real close with, because again, everybody's tied to their own opinion. But I do speak knowledge, man. I do tell them what it is, and they say, "Oh, okay, you know, yeah, you know," and that's why they continue to watch the channel, you know, and they know I'm all about common sense, and now they're going to the voting booth and they're going Trump. Yeah, common sense, man. A lot of people are waking up, you know. They're sick of this crap. They're sick of this lies. They're sick of this delusional, you know. They're not going for it, man. They can't sustain another couple years under these failures, man. Just not looking pretty, man. But hey, let me know what y'all think of this. I love you guys. Huge shout out to my brother Greg. Again, link will be in the description box down below. Hope y'all have an amazing weekend, an amazing start to your week. As we got some big things coming up, as you know. Chicago, the DNC, man. Things are gonna get popping, man. So I hope y'all are ready, man. I hope you guys are ready. We're gonna be doing a lot of coverage and continue to bring you amazing updates every single day. And we're gonna keep it real. We're gonna have fun. We're gonna crack jokes. We're gonna laugh. That's what it's all about, man. Especially during these dark, woke, disgraceful times that we live in, man. But God bless you all and your families. I will catch y'all in the next one. Peace and love, y'all. Yeah.